Hello, we're looking at our next poem, Ken jy die See by Uys Krige, an absolute classic in the Afrikaans poetry. Uys Krige, massive figure in Afrikaans. You don't need to really know that, but more importantly, I just want to show you my books, this purple book and then the cheat sheets. You have to get them because that'll make Afrikaans way easier than it is right now. If you can just please share this link of this video to, if you're a teacher, to your colleagues, if you're a student, to your mates from other schools, that'll really help me enormously. And also the link to Takealot shop is in the description of this video. So that's basically what I do to make a little bit of makes ends meet. That is me. Please buy the books. If you're a school and you want to buy in bulk, just email me. Okay, simple as that. Or send me a WhatsApp and we'll sort it out. Cool, let's look at this poem. It is so long. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, okay, it is bad. Okay, it's lovely to read and all, but it's flipping 40 lines long. Okay, it's a bit rough. Anyway. So let's plow through this thing quickly, see if we can keep it to half an hour. Okay, you can't do a poem in less than half an hour, it's just impossible. Ken jy die see, ... Ken jy die see, meneer, ken jy die see? Do you know the sea, sir? Do you know the sea? Hy lyk nou, soos jou voorstoep blink geskuur. Looks like your front porch, all polished and neat, now. En kalm, soos min dinge hier benee, and calm, like few things are down here. Maar hy is gevaarliker as vlam of vuur, but he's more dangerous than the flame or fire. The sea is very dangerous. So we've got someone speaking to someone else about the danger of the sea, and now it becomes clear. Dan sê jy nog, meneer, die vis is duur. So this is a fisherman speaking to someone who's wanting to buy fish, maybe at the market, maybe at the harbor. You would guess it's kind of a Western Cape kind of setting, right? Where fishing boats come in and then they pack out their fish and people come to buy, and then some guy comes and he negotiates for a better price with the fisherman, and the fisherman gets highly annoyed by this guy, this meneer, who wants to pay less. Line 6. Die vrede, kalmer as 'n stil soet kind, lyk of dit dae lank sal duur. This calm, peaceful, sweet child looks like it will last like that for days. Okay, maar word die bries 'n bulderende wind, but the breeze can become a roaring wind very quickly. Cape of Storms, right? Dan veg jy vir jou lewe, vuur na vuur. Then you fight for your life, fire upon fire. And then again that line, en sê jy nog, meneer, die vis is duur. And then you still say, sir, the fish is expensive. How dare you say that? Okay. Ja, sleep die swart wind, die swart nag mee. 3 times the word black is used there. And then, waar kry ons hulp dan? Waar's ons naaste buur? Where do we get help then? Where is our nearest neighbor? Die dood staan voor die deur. Death stands in front of the door. It's close. And then there's a full stop in the middle of a line, which is weird. Okay, we'll talk about that. Gee nog net een tree. Just give one more step. Just give one more step. It's like the death is challenging them. Dan kelder hy ons almal in sy koue skuur. Then he sinks us all into his cold storehouse or into his cold barn. En sê jy nog, meneer, die vis is duur. And you still say the fish is expensive. Don't you understand the dangers that we are going through to catch this fish. We're risking our lives. We're facing death's door. And you complain that the fish is 100 rand, you want to only pay 70 rand. Okay. Wat van die storms wat nooit ophou raas? What about the storms that never cease their rage? Jy sit pal in jou kliphuis klam en guur. You sit tightly, warmly in your stone house, damp and bleak. You're all bleak. You're sitting there all miserable because the weather's miserable. You don't know what miserable is unless you've been on the sea in a boat in a storm. En hoor hoe die wind al woester, wreder blaas. So you can sit in your safe little house and you can hear the wind blowing wilder and more cruel. En daar's geen sprokkel hout meer vir jou. And there's not a splinter of wood left for your fire. Oh, shame. That's terrible. Try having no fire, being on a boat in a storm, in the wind, in the cold, being wet, on the dark sea at night. How's that for a problem? Okay. Dan sê jy nog, meneer, die vis is duur. Then you still say, sir, the fish is so expensive. I want to negotiate. Was jy al van jou bootjie soos 'n veer gevee? Have you ever been swept off your boat like a feather? Deur 'n grys golf hoog soos 'n tronk se muur, by a grey wall high as a prison wall? Wat help dit om te spartel en te skree? Nee, what good is it to struggle and scream? No. Sluk jy eers daardie waters sout en suur? Once you've gulped down those waters, salty and sour, is that when you scream? Dan sê jy nog, meneer, die vis is duur. Line 26. Ken jy die doodsangs as die rukwind klap? Do you know the terror of the gusting squall? Okay, that's squall is that big wind that causes those big waves. Die waansin ken geen redmiddel of kuur. That madness knows no remedy or cure. Hy vreet mos aan jou ingewande nes 'n krab. It gnaws at your guts like a crab. Hy is koud soos ys, heet soos die helle vuur. Again, we have that ice and fire thing. It's cold like ice, hot like hellfire. Dan sê jy nog, meneer, die vis is duur. That chorus there. 31. Ken jy die see, meneer? Ken jy die see? Hy wat met groen jaloerse oë na ons gluur. He glares at us with his green jealous eyes. Ons wat net een ou misstappie moet gee. We who must just make one wrong move, one wrong step. Okay? En hy kom tromp op ons afgestuur. And it charges at you head on like a storm at sea. Okay? Line 36. Sien jy die krom ou vroukie daar, mevrou Matthee? Do you see that old, stooped old woman there? Mrs. Matthee? Wat telkens ver oor die golwe tuur. She's always sitting there, looking out over the waves. Sy dink die briesie bring haar seuns betyds vir tee. She thinks that this breeze is bringing her sons home for tea. How tragic. They're all drowned. They're not coming home for tea. They're dead. They're in the bottom of the sea. Hulle slaap al drie agter die kerkhofmuur, but they are buried beneath the churchyard wall. They drowned, they washed out, they were charred by crabs. What a terrible death. Dan sê jy nog, meneer, die vis is duur. Okay, so there is a lot. So let me just take away the English for now, so I can move up these beautiful notes that I made for you to make it simple. Remember, we want to figure out what they're actually going to ask. We don't want to go into every little intricacy of this poem. That would be wonderful, but we don't have time for that kind of thing. We just want to get this poem done because they've got a lot of other work to do. Okay, so the title, Ken jy die see? So, is there a question mark? Let me just check. No, there isn't. Sorry, I was just doubting myself. There's no question marks. It's just this ellipse, okay? So what does it mean? Well, it means it's a rhetorical question. It's a rhetorical question. It's someone asking about iemand wat wil vis koop by a visserman. So this is like a setting, like a market or something, as I said. And he's not really, this conversation is not really taking place. But this guy must be thinking, like, yes, do you know the sea, bro? Like, you have no idea what I went through to put this snook or this salmon or whatever, or this tuna on this table at the market on ice here for you. And now you are questioning it. Kenya, he said, do you know this? Do you know anything about the dangers of the sea? Oh, you must be stupid. Okay. The ellipse there is important. Okay, they might shoot for that question. So I just say it's a general question. It's 'n algemene vraag. Because mense kla altyd dat die vis wat by hulle mark te duur is. It's not necessarily a specific person asking it. It's algemeen, because people always complain, or they think they can negotiate. You don't go into a restaurant and negotiate the price, but when you buy fish from the market, now you want to negotiate price. Don't, just pay the price. Okay. This whole poem, before we go on, is a monologue. It's a monologue. This is in other words, he's not speaking. The narrator or the speaker is not speaking to anybody in specifically. It's a visserman wat sy klagtes vertel aan iemand. It could also just be his thoughts. Okay. It's a monologue. It's not a dialogue. It's nie 'n dialoog nie. Dialogue is between two people. Monologue is one person. Okay. Who is the jy? Okay, I would ask that. Who is he addressing here? Okay. He's addressing a man or a person that wants to buy food. Fish. Die man wat vis koop word direk aangespreek. The man that wants to buy food is directly addressed here. Okay. You see in line 1 there, ken jy die see? It's the and also excuse me. Wow, sorry, that was a bad sneeze. So he's repeating there, ken jy die see, and also in the title, ken jy die see. So 3 times there in very little space there. It's obviously to emphasize something, to proclaim to something, but what? Hy vra die man, what did I say here? Sorry, hy vra of die man die wispelturigheid en gevaar van die see verstaan. He's asking the man, do you understand the moodiness of the sea, wispelturigheid, the danger of the sea? Verstaan hy hoe gevaarlik dit is om vis te vang? So that's what he's emphasizing. He's emphasizing whether people actually understand how dangerous the sea is. So there's your functional word, dangerous, gevaarlik. Okay. Hy lyk nou soos jou voorstoep. He looks like your stoop that's been polished. Okay. That's an interesting comparison, vergelijking. We can just say there, let's just put it in there, vergelijking. That is a vergelijking. Why is it so cool? Because it implies that this man is coming to buy is not poor. If you have a big shiny stoop, right, a house with a big shiny stoop, are you poor? Can you afford 100 rand for fish? Yes, you can. Hy het 'n groot huis met 'n groot stoep. It also implies he has people working for him. Hy impliseer hy het ook huiswerkers wat die stoep skuur. He has servants or people working for him, cleaners, okay, butlers working for him. And here he comes to the market and he wants to negotiate for fish. Come on, let's get real. So it's a goeie vergelijking. Dis funksioneel. It gives us a little bit of a hint as to the socio-economic standing of the man that is buying the fish. Okay. So it's also, it indicates the calmness of the sea. It can be calm like your stoop. Okay. soos min dinge hier benee. Benee is actually benede. So like few things, it can be calm like few things below us, like the earth, like the floor. He uses benee so that it rhymes with seer. Okay, so it just keeps die woord verander so dat die paarrym behou bly, so that the coupled rhyme can stay intact. Makes sense, right? Then we get a lot of this fire stuff, fire. You know, maar hy is gevaarliker as vlam of vuur. It says the sea is more dangerous than fire. I don't personally see the value of this specific metaphor. To me, it detracts a little bit from the poem, because the fire is not something you associate with the sea. I don't know. I'm struggling to picture it in my head. Maybe I'm missing something. But in any case, there's some nice V alliteration there. Vlam of vuur. Dui op die geluid van die stormwinde. That V sound. The sound of the stormy winds on the sea. Maybe it's saying that the water is just as destructive as fire. Maybe that's it. Water. Maybe that's the suggestion. Water is net so gevaarlik soos vuur. Is that what he's saying? If you have a better idea, let me know. I don't. I can't really get it. Then you get this line that gets repeated all the time, right? Dan sê jy nog meneer die vis is duur. Die vers, okay, so it's isolated. It staan alleen. It's alleen plasing. I'm just going to put that word in brackets for you. Alleen plasing. Dit beklemtoon die visserman se frustrasie dat die man kla. So if they ask that, I think if you say this, you'll be fine. It emphasizes the fisherman's frustration that the man is complaining about the price of the fish. That's why he keeps saying it. He keeps repeating it over and over and over again. So they would definitely ask this, eh? So that's very important. They will ask this. I can tell you right, I can put money on it. For dat die man kla oor die prys van die vis. He's complaining about the price of the fish. Die vrede, so this peace that you see now at the sea, so at this moment the sea is peaceful. Kalmer as 'n stil soet kind. It's a bit of a weak comparison, I thought. Calmer than a sweet child. Boring. I think there could have been a better comparison there. But what is cool is that they use, or he uses 2 commas here while he's describing the calmness of the sea. That's functional. Okay, why? Die kommas vertraag die tempo om te pas by die idee dat die see baie stil kan wees. So it slows the tempo of the poem down to fit with this idea that the sea can be very calm. Okay, that's clever. That's very clever. The sweet child, that's a bit weak. Okay. Daar and daar, so it can last for days and days. So it's just a herhaling there. That's quite an easy, if they ask that, it's quite easy. That's just to emphasize how long die see can still is. It can be quite for days and days and days. And then suddenly there's a storm, suddenly there's a wave, okay? And then that's what the maar indicates. The maar indicates that quick shift. Die weer verander vinnig. That's what the maar, the weather can change quickly. That's what the maar indicates. And then you have this B. B is an explosive sound. Ba, B. Bries, bulderend, okay? So again, that's functional. Dit dui op die geluid van die donderweer. It indicates the sound of thunder, perhaps. Makes sense, eh? Clever. Once again. I'm going to move this down a bit for us. Dan veg jy vir jou lewe 4 na 4. So again, there we had vlam of vuur. Here we have fear, no fear. I don't know. It's not really convincing. Maybe I had one idea here. You might have another idea. Okay, if you do, please comment. Dit dui dalk op hoe die soutwater jou longe en oë kan brand. So I'm thinking, like, if you swallow, I don't know if you've ever swallowed seawater, it burns, man. If it goes up your nose and into your eyes, it burns. We also have an indication later that gives us a clue when they refer to it again, that this could be the fires of hell. So, shame, this fisherman, you know, he might be quite fundamentally religious and believe that if he dies, he's going to burn in a fire. Okay, die vuur wat visserman saans kan maak om as hy veilig by die huis kom. Maybe, like, you fight for your life, from fire to fire. So I had this other idea that he lives from fire to fire. In other words, when he comes home, he gets to make a little fire in his house to warm up. So you basically live and you're cold, and then until you get home and make a fire, and then you function again for the next day, and then you make another fire. So it might indicate the fire that he makes every evening, and that he basically lives like that, from one fire to the next fire to the next fire, hoping that you don't drown. Okay, so those are some ideas that I tossed around. Don't take them too seriously. I don't think, if they ask that, you're going to get good luck marking it at the caps marking. So anyway, ja, sleep die swart wind, there's all the swart, and S alliteration. This indicates, this refers to the wind, day op die wind, and this is evidently the suidooster. Okay, die suidooster wind, the southeastern wind. That's the dangerous one that you don't want. So if the wind turns that way, then you know there's trouble coming. It's very dangerous. And I said there, the repetition of the word swart, it predicts the death, especially the death of these three brothers at the end. So you can voorspel die dood. You can maybe say van die drie broers. I think they'll think that's quite clever. Okay, van die drie broers. So it's like a vooruitwysing, it's a prediction of the death there. Waar kry ons hulp? He says, where do we get help from? Listen, there's nothing you can do to save. A helicopter is very expensive. They're not going to go out and save these fishermen. There's no boats that can save them. When you're stuck in a storm, there's pretty much, you have to ride it out or die. Geen reddingsbote vir die vissermanne nie. And then they use the word buur. That's just to rhyme again with skier. Ons naaste buur, so it would be bure, neighbors, or buurman, my neighbor. That would be the full word, but we know what they mean, right? Even though they shortened it. And it rhymes with skier. So I have to ask what the function is. It's so that they can keep the coupled rhyme intact. Happy? Okay. Here they use die dood, and they give die dood a capital letter, hoofletter. Okay, they will ask this. Okay, so what does this do? Well, it's a personification of death. It's like a person coming to fetch, kom haal die visserman. And then, interestingly, they have a full stop there in the middle of the line. I would ask the same, because it's unusual. You can say it beklemtoon, it's after it speaks about the death, there's a full stop. So it indicates the finality of death, isn't it? Of this fisherman. Beklemtoon dat die dood die einde van die visserman is. It's the end of him, that's it. He's also going to get buried behind the church with the rest of the fishermen who drowned. Just as a side note, if you think that this doesn't happen, check here. So, leading causes of accidental death in South Africa in 2018. It's like a weird stat. Accidental death, right? We're not talking about sicknesses. So, accidental exposure to other and unspecified factors. So, there's like car accidents and things like that, okay? Mechanical forces. This is like people working in factories and things. Breathing, okay? So, the bee stings you, or you get asthma, or you choking, okay? Choking. Exposure to smoke and flames, okay, we understand that. Look at that, drowning, accidental drowning. 1,444 people drowned in 2018. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that an interesting stat? Anyway, so it does happen, and fishermen drown all the time. We read about it in the news all the time, especially in the Western Cape. Okay, so they use the word, dan kelder hy ons almal in sy skuur. The hy is die see, right? Die skuur is a barn. A barn is normally a very positive image. Here it's not. It's a barn full of dead bodies. As sê jy, it's gewoonlik 'n positiewe beeld. Hier word die beeld omgeswaai. It gets flipped or reversed to something very horrible. A barn full of bodies of people that drowned, mense wat verdrink het. Then he talks about the man again. There you sit in your kliphuisie. Kliphuis, again, indication of his wealth and his safety. So it's a skerp contrast. They might use that word, contrast met die visserman. He probably has a little house, it's cold, it's definitely not built out of stone. A stone house is expensive, it's more expensive than a brick house. It's the most expensive house you can build. So he's rich, and he wants to negotiate for fish prices. How dare he? Okay. Sit jy klam en gier. So gier, so he sits in his house. Listen to this. This was interesting. He's miserable. Okay. And I said, die man se gierheid, his miserableness, his miserable mood is not justified. He's miserable because it's raining outside and his wood is running out. Oh, shame, man. It's terrible. Just get into your warm bed. Hy behoort gelukkig te wees in sy huis. He should be happy in his house. We go on and we say here, see here, en hoor die wind al woester vreder. Again, a W alliteration, lots of alliteration in this poem. It emphasizes that the storm is getting al hoe sterker. Also die geluid van die wind. W, okay. Geen meer hout vir die vuur. Okay, he says, oh, there's no more wood for his fire. Shame, man. Terrible. Irony, it's ironic here, because he's still in a better situation than as die visserman op sy boot in die storm. He's way better off than being outside in a storm. Was jy ooit soos 'n veer gevee, swept like a feather? So it's the alliteration of the V, beklemtoon die geluid van die golwe, die vee, soos the metaphor there, soos 'n veer, dui op die mag van die see, indicates the power of the sea. That wave will just swipe you off like you're nothing, okay, like a feather. Mag van die see. This is an interesting comparison here now. Deur 'n grys golf hoog soos 'n tronk se muur. Okay, so on one level, the fisherman he's held captive as a prisoner by the sea, basically. How? Well, he has to go out on the sea. He has to fish. He has to take the risk om 'n lewe te maak, to make a life, to make a living. And there's also, you can't help but think this way. I don't know if I'm stretching it a little bit far. Dit is ook 'n verwysing na baie arme mense wat in die tronk oneindig, omdat dit te moeilik is om 'n eerlike lewe te maak in die Suid-Afrikaanse ekonomie. It's also a reference to a lot of poor people We simply end up in jail because they tried. They tried everything that is honest. They tried to make a living. They couldn't make ends meet. And in the end, they end up breaking the law simply to provide for their families. That is a South African reality. Okay. And perhaps this fisherman is like, he's had a taste of it. Perhaps he's been to jail himself. Perhaps undoubtedly some of his friends must have been charged with something and go to jail. When you are poor and struggling to make a living, you are very close to jail. That is the reality of South Africa. Okay. Sluk jy eers daardie water, sout en suur. Again, that salt and sour water, ek het gesê dit pas by die fire metaphor. It fits with that fire metaphor, perhaps. It sounds like he's speaking from personal experience, persoonlike ervaring. Well, he must have. He must have at some point fallen off his boat and swallowed seawater. It's awful. Ugh. Okay. They speak here about a redmiddel of a kuur. Ken jy die doodsangs as die rit? So the death pangs. Okay, I didn't take a note on that. But die waansin ken geen red. So those pangs is called waansin. It's called madness. So it can drive, the fear and anxiety can literally drive you mad. And there's no red middle of kuur. So perhaps it could refer to seasickness. Also die angs wat jou mal maak. The anxiety literally drives you crazy. Also it says this, I just said that the sea will never be safe. There's no cure for a dangerous sea, unfortunately. And red middle, there's no savior coming when you're drowning. When you're a poor little fisherman's boat, nobody's going to risk their life to come and save you. Just doesn't happen. There's this shocking one here. Hy vreet mos aan jou ingewande nes 'n krab. He eats at you like a crab. And I said here, you know, quite literally, most bodies that wash up, they have bite marks of crabs on them. I googled that. I shouldn't have googled that. It was horrible. Vreet aan jou soos 'n krab, but it more importantly, sorry, is a metaphor. So the gnawing of the crab is a metafoor van die angs wat jou wat aan jou eet, wat aan jou vreet. The anxiety gnawing away at you, the fear, the angs, and let's just say slash vrees wat aan jou eet. Okay, now it says hy's koud soos ys, heet soos helle vuur. Again, don't really, koud soos ice. Okay, obviously the sea is going to be icy cold, especially in the Western Cape. So maybe when you fall in, it's cold. When you die and you end up in hell, then it's hot. Is that the thing? I don't know. Die ewige dood of die vuur van die hel. So die helle vuur is the everlasting death or the fires of hell. Die spreker nie baie positief oor sy hiernamaals nie. I said the narrator, the fisherman is not very positive about his hiernamaals, his afterlife, where he's going. Hy glo dalk, maybe he believes that he's going to burn in a biblical hell. Miskien, maybe that's what he believes. A lot of people believe that. Okay. So firstly, cold. So die koud is, die water is koud. Let's just say that there. If they ask what's the contrast here. So die contrast, water is koud, and then the fires of hell is hot. Maybe that's the answer. Okay. Die see se groen jaloerse oë. So this is again a bit of a weak one, I reckon. Hey, the green jealous eyes of the sea. That's weak. Okay, the sea is he found. So he depicts the sea as the enemy. There's no like, we go out on the sea and we have such a great relationship with the sea. Hy provides vir us. No, he hates the sea, this guy. Hy wil die vissermanne in sy kelder hê, and the sea hates them. He wants to lock them up in his kelder, in his barn, okay? Een ou misstappie, one little misstep. A misstep could quite literally be, I say here, die skep die beeld van visserman wat oor die rand van die boot trap. You step over the edge, you fall, God, misstap. One misstep. Misstap's ook another kind of mistake in general, like not reading the weather correctly, like, weather looks okay, guys, a little bit of a storm, but it's okay, let's go fish. One misstep, one mistake, and you're dead. Hy kom tromp op ons afgestuur. Sterk beeld van 'n storm wat direk op die boot afstuur. So it's just this image of a storm hitting them head on. And then it becomes quite personal. They mention this krom ou vroukie, so she's old, eh? Okay, so if the krom means she's old, okay? Hunched over. Mevrou Matthee, so it becomes very personal. There's a specific example of this old lady who lost 3 of her sons. Ek gee 'n spesifieke voorbeeld van hoe die see mense persoonlik beïnvloed. This is a specific example of how the sea influences people specifically. Die impak en die pyn word baie persoonlik. As the impact and the pain becomes very personal. Sy tuur oor die golwe. Tuur means you look long and far. What is she looking at? Something far, far. Okay, emphasize. She misses her sons. She wishes they would come home for tea like they used to do when they were still fishing. They ain't coming home. Okay, they are buried behind the church wall. So the ver beklemtoon toen haar hartseer en die verlange, if they ask that, the repetition there, die herhaling, let's just put the word herhaling in. Die herhaling beklemtoon haar verlange, her longing, her hankering back for the life of her sons. So then the poem ends again with, dan sê jy nog, meneer. You still say, I've explained all of this to you. You still say, die vis is duur. And it also again ends with this ellipse. And just like in the beginning, it just refers to this fact that die dood is permanent, death is permanent. And also the sea will always be dangerous. It was dangerous 100 years ago. It will be dangerous now. It will be dangerous in the future. Okay. So we've got these quatraine, and then we've got this refrain repeated the whole time. We spoke about that. And there's cross rhyme in all these quatraine, in all these 4-lined stanzas. Is it functional? Yeah. Definitely. Die kruisruim is funksioneel om die visserman se konflik met die see en die viskoper uit te beeld. So there's 2 conflicts here that the cross rhyme emphasizes. The conflict with the man. He's not literally speaking to the man, but there's a conflict in his head in this monologue. And also his everlasting conflict with the sea. Okay. So wow, there was a massive amount of information that I covered there. I hope it really helps, and just, I couldn't really make it shorter, but I think that is quite comprehensive. And if I had gaps, I'm sure I missed some things that you picked up. Well done for spotting them. Please let me know if you spotted anything cool that I missed. Also, if you're a teacher, let me know, please. I would love to learn from your insights as well. And thank you, and please share this with every single student that needs to do this poem. And please buy my books, or send the link to, you might have small brothers and sisters, know of people in your community. Put it on your community groups, on your school groups, whatever you can do to help me just make a little bit of income so I can get things, so I can keep things going. Signing off, and chat soon.